You say slow down. I don't like to move too fast. It drowns the truth with things that are not real, and I really.
This is part 16 of the Craftsman Emerson Generation 2 Drill Press Set Rebuild series. If you haven't seen part 15, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we will be finishing up cleaning parts and work on the motor. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Okay, finishing up work at the lathe, we have the 3 feed handle knobs and we're going to lightly sand them, wet sand them, and then polish them. So we are just using some 600, 800, and 1000 grit sandpaper. And then we are going to be applying this Meguiar's cleaner wax and then buffing it off with a microfiber cloth. Remember to rinse between each grit of sandpaper. And as you can see, this gets very messy. And that is the 3rd knob there. These are made out of Bakelite. If you've got a larger chunk missing from one of these or a hole in it or something, I recommend filling it in with some epoxy and then doing this. All right, so this is the motor mount plate, and that paint that's on it is just damn resilient. And so we tried getting it off with the paint stripper. We tried getting it off with the grinder on the grinding stand, and now we're going to use the wire wheel on the angle grinder to get it off. So this works really well. Cleans it up pretty good. And that is the motor mount. All right, so here we are with the stator, and we're just using some compressed air to blow it out. And then we're going to be cleaning it up. In that bin to the left of me there is just some about a cap full of dish soap, like Dawn, and water, cold water. I'm just using a old toothbrush. And I'm going to clean up the terminal bar, some of the wiring, and that klaxon. Now, when we clean up these coils here, you got to be very careful. If you end up breaking just one of those wires, that's the end of it. That motor will not run anymore, most likely. And getting it rewired is going to be extremely expensive. You'll be better off just buying another motor. So it was at this point that I realized that this green wire here has multiple breaks in it. This is a lead wire coming off of the main coil. So we're going to replace it. And so we're going to cut it, because where it's attached to the coil is about a half an inch to an inch deep inside, and there's no real way to get to it. And then we're going to strip the end of it, and we're going to use a butt connector on it. You can see how that shielding that's on the wire just crumbles off of there. And as I flipped it, I realized there is more breaks further down on it. So we're going to go ahead and slide some heat shrink or shrink tube or whatever the heck it's called down over it. And then we'll heat that up, and then we're going to apply a second layer of it. So this motor may be dead at this point. I don't know. It ran before we took it apart. But yeah, we'll find out when we reassemble it if it's going to work. I'm 80% confident it's going to be fine, but yeah, there's just no way to really know until we play with it. You can do continuity checks and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not an electrician, don't know how to do a lot of that, and yeah, electrical is not my strong suit. But it makes sense that if we shield this, it should still work and not arc on the inside of the motor there. So then we'll apply the butt connector. We'll crimp that, and then the replacement lead wire that I'm going to use is a high temp piece of wire. I think it's got silicone shielding on it. I could have sped this footage up, but I wanted to really show all this because somebody may have a similar issue. So now we're just adding the replacement lead wire. And then we'll heat that up so that that shrink tube or heat shrink shrinks up. And get it all squared away. And there we go. Now, where it connects to the terminal bar, luckily, that post is a screw. So we can remove the nut from the bottom side rather than trying to desolder and mess around. And then push that screw through the terminal bar. And the wire is actually on a ring connector. You'll see it here in a second. But that screw's got kind of a square neck to it that keeps it from rotating. And that ring connector's got kind of a square hole in it. So I've got ring connectors, and off camera I took one of my ring connectors that fits that and used a very small file to make it square on the inside so that it fits that screw. Then we'll attach the ring connector and crimp it. And once we've got it crimped, we'll go ahead and apply heat to it and let that shrink down to the wire. Too easy. Then we'll run the screw back through that ring connector and run it back through the terminal bar. If we can get everything lined up. Get my head out of the way. There we go. Then we can go ahead and put the nut back on there. and tighten that down with a proper tool instead of needle nose pliers. Love those nut drivers. All right, with that corrected, we're now going to mask off the inside of the motor. So we've got this one hole where two of the wires are coming out to connect to the capacitor. And then we're going to tuck all the wiring in and start masking. And we're doing this to protect the windings. I probably called them coils earlier. They're windings. Because we're going to be utilizing the angle grinder on the exterior of the stator to remove the paint. And we're going to need all that masked anyways when we go to paint, so no big deal. Go ahead and remove this sticker. This is just that Craftsman General Purpose Motor sticker. And I have gone ahead and had Matt Blast over on Garage Journal Forum make up a couple of those for me. Normally I just don't care to reapply one, but yeah, I went ahead and had them made up. So now I've got those, and I'll get those made up or apply those when we finish the paint. So here I'm just using a piece of aluminum that will fit between the windings and the outside of the stator cover, and clamp it to the workbench so that the motor doesn't, or the stator doesn't flip all over the place while we hit it with the angle grinder. We're just using a wire wheel. And then these are all the parts that we cleaned up in the previous video and this video, and we're going to go ahead and coat them with the super slick stuff, which is a penetrating oil. None of these are getting painted, so we can go ahead and coat them. We'll flip them and then recoat the other side. And then do a little bit of drying off with some paper towel. And that is going to wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. In the next video, I think we got just a little bit more cleanup to do, and then we're going to be masking for paint. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget about all the good stuff in the description below the video. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.